Okay, so in the last lecture we have discussed one important point, that is nothing but critical thickness of insulation or critical radius of insulation. Okay, so I think we have discussed the critical radius of insulation for cylindrical geometry. Okay, and we will take the write up for the same initially, and we'll move ahead for the critical radius of insulation for sphere and problems on this particular concept. Okay, so might be this lecture will be for 2 hours or 1.5 hours. So until and unless we'll not complete these 2 points, okay, with the write up part, uh, I will only conduct the lecture. Okay, there will not be a next lecture, only HMT lecture will be there. Okay, the HT lecture will be there. So write down the heading part, critical thickness of insulation. I think we have written what is meant by insulation. Okay, and what are the different applications of insulation. Okay, then we have also discussed, and we have also written this particular point, factors affecting on thermal conductivity of insulating material, and we have discussed near about 6 factors, okay, in this particular point. And the next succeeding point is critical thickness of insulation. Okay, so write down heading, critical thickness of insulation, critical thickness of insulation, and draw this diagram in case of a wall. Okay, in case of a wall, in case of a wall, in case of a wall, and draw this particular diagram. For better visibility, I suggest you can rotate your mobile screen and you can use zoom feature, so that whatever the data from this particular word file, it will be clearly visible to you. Okay, so you heading critical thickness of insulation or critical radius of insulation, and in case of wall, write down the sentence as in case of a wall. So what will happen if the thickness of insulation will increase in case of a wall? Okay, if you increase the thickness of insulation over the wall, then what will happen? Okay, so for that reason, this particular diagram is drawn over here. You can also draw the diagram, everyone. So this is the base wall having the thickness of L1, and over this particular base wall we have provided insulation of a material having thickness L2, and beyond that there is environment which is shown by this particular dotted line. Okay, and the insider temperature of a base wall is a T1. Okay, outside surface temperature of insulating material is T2, and the environment temperature, outside environment temperature, is T suffix Cf. Okay, cold fluid temperature. Okay, and we are going to consider that T1 temperature is greater than the T2 temperature, and also greater than the outside environment temperature or cold fluid temperature which is flowing over the insulating material, or which is over that particular insulating material. Okay, so the heat will flow from higher temperature to the lower temperature. So heat flow direction is provided. Provide the appropriate nomenclatures. Okay, and thicknesses are given as L1 and L2. So in case of wall, the general formula, we know that in case of every object we are using this formula, that Q is equal to dT divided by RTH, that is nothing but overall temperature difference divided by total thermal resistance, or summation of total thermal resistance. Okay, summation of all the thermal resistance. Okay, so have you drawn the diagram? So after drawing the diagram, you can write this general formula as Q is equal to dT divided by RTH. Okay, Q is equal to dT divided by RTH, overall temperature difference divided by total thermal resistance. Overall temperature difference divided by total thermal resistance. Okay, now in case of a wall, the thermal resistance for the conduction is nothing but L1 divided by K multiply by area. Okay, where L divided by K multiply by area, where L is nothing but thickness of wall, K is the thermal conductivity of wall, and A is the perpendicular surface area for the heat flow direction. Perpendicular surface area for the heat flow direction. So in this case for the wall, we can write that for the first wall having thickness of L1, the thermal resistance is L1 divided by K suffix A multiplied by area, plus if you are going to consider the thermal conductivity of this base wall is K suffix A, then it will be L1 divided by K suffix A multiplied by area, plus now the heat is flowing through the insulation, and in that case the thermal resistance offered by the insulating material is equal to L2 divided by K suffix B. Okay, L2 divided by K suffix B multiplied by area, plus now the heat is flowing from the external surface of insulating material to external environment. So that heat flow we have to consider as a convective heat transfer. Okay, that heat transfer we have to consider as a convective heat transfer. So according to Newton's law of cooling, we will get the resistance for the convective heat transfer as 1 divided by H multiplied by area. Okay, 1 divided by H multiplied by area. So our equation will become Q is equal to dt divided by dt whole divided by L1 divided by K suffix A multiplied by area, plus L2 divided by K suffix B multiplied by area, plus 1 divided by H multiplied by area, where H is nothing but convective heat transfer coefficient. H is nothing but convective heat transfer coefficient. Getting everyone? Now, here in this particular case, now what is the concept? In this particular case, if you increase the thickness, L2 thickness, if you increase the L2 thickness, so there will not be any effect on a perpendicular surface area for the direction of heat flow. Okay, if you increase the L2, that is the thickness of the insulating material, then also area will remains constant. It will not change. Okay, that we have discussed in the last lecture, how it is constant, how it will not affect on the perpendicular surface area if you increase the thickness of wall. Okay, so if you increase the thickness, there will not be effect on area. Area will remain constant. So that if you increase the thickness of the insulation in case of a wall, the total thermal resistance will goes on increasing as this L2 divided by K suffix B multiplied by area will goes on increasing. Because of that, the total thermal resistance will get increased, and due to that the heat flow rate will decrease. Okay, due to that the heat flow rate will decrease. Okay, so same point we can write as here write down here, if increase L2, here if increase L2 is the thickness of insulating material. Okay, here if increase L2, here if increase L2 comma R suffix th, that is thermal resistance, total thermal resistance, R suffix th increases and Q2 and Q will decreases, and Q will decrease, and Q will decrease, and Q will decrease. Okay, so this is about the wall case. Okay, this is about the wall case. Okay, have you written up to this point? Here if increase L2 comma RTH increases and Q will decrease. Okay, now next, now consider solid cylinder. Consider solid cylinder. Okay, consider solid cylinder. So here draw this particular diagram. So innermost circle you can see we have taken the top view of solid cylinder or cut section of a solid cylinder, whatever you want to consider. So here, if you taken the cut section or the top view of the solid cylinder, we will get only the circular geometry, or in that particular top view, we will get only circular structure or circular geometry for the cylinder. Okay, so this particular blue colored circle is there. This is the solid cylinder. Okay, consider any rod, consider any wire, okay, which is having a circular cross section area and having the length. Okay, circular cross section area and that particular geometry or that particular object is having the length. So that is nothing but cylindrical geometry. So here blue colored circle is nothing but the solid cylinder. You can show it by the hatching line also. So you will come to know that this is the solid one. Okay, solid cylinder is there and having the radius of R1. Okay, that particular solid cylinder is having radius R1. Okay, then surface of that particular solid cylinder is maintained at a T1 degree Celsius, or the temperature of surface of solid cylinder is T1 degree Celsius. Okay, now over that particular solid cylinder, insulation is provided. Okay, insulation is provided. Okay, now the radius of insulating material, radius of that particular insulating material is R2. Okay, radius of that particular insulating material is R2, and the thermal conductivity of that particular insulating material is K. Okay, thermal conductivity of that particular insulating material or insulating material over the cylinder is K. Then that particular outside surface of that particular insulating material is maintained at a T2 temperature. Outside surface of insulating material is maintained at a T2 temperature, and this outside surface of a insulating material is exposed to environment. Okay, is exposed to the cold fluid, or you can say the environment also, and that is shown by this particular green dotted line. Okay, that is shown by this particular green dotted line. Okay, so that is nothing but what? Surrounding to this cylindrical geometry, there is the environment, there is a cold fluid. Okay, and that particular environment or that particular air temperature is T suffix A. Okay, T suffix A is the air temperature. Okay, and the convective heat transfer coefficient between the surface of insulating material and external environment is H0. Okay, is H0. Okay, so have you drawn the diagram? Freehand sketching with proper understanding is required. Okay, next, write down, let L is equal to, length of cylinder. Let L is equal to length of cylinder. L is equal to length of cylinder. T1 is equal to surface temperature of cylinder. T1 is equal to surface temperature of cylinder. T1 is equal to surface temperature of cylinder. Then T suffix A is equal to surrounding air temperature. T suffix A is equal to surrounding air temperature. Then next, H0 or H suffix 0 is equal to heat transfer coefficient at the outer surface of the insulation. H0 is equal to heat transfer coefficient at the outer surface of the insulation. Heat transfer coefficient at the outer surface of the insulation. And K is equal to thermal conductivity of insulating material. K is equal to thermal conductivity of insulating material. K is equal to thermal conductivity of insulating material. Okay. So we know that in case of a cylindrical geometry, how to write the equation for the composite cylinder. Okay. Or in case of cylinder, we know the thermal resistance. Okay. So by considering equation, we can write the heat transfer rate in case of a cylinder. Okay. The heat transfer from the surface, right on next, the heat transfer from the surface of solid cylinder to surrounding. The heat transfer from the surface of solid cylinder to surrounding. Heat transfer from the surface of a solid cylinder to surrounding. So what is our general equation? General equation is Q is equal to dT divided by RTH. That is the overall temperature difference minus overall temperature difference divided by total thermal resistance. Total thermal resistance. So solid cylinder is provided and its surface temperature is provided T1. So that will be our initial temperature for the overall temperature difference, and the air temperature will be nothing but our final temperature. Okay. So overall temperature will become T1 minus TA whole divided by, now heat transfer through a insulating material. Heat transfer through a insulating material, that is nothing but heat transfer within a material will be considered as a conduction, and in that case we have to write the thermal resistance for the conduction. So divided by, first term is about the thermal resistance for the conduction, and it is equal to ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by 2 pi KL divided by 2 pi KL. Okay, R2 divided by R1 divided by 2 pi KL. Okay. Now heat transfer from the outer surface of insulating material towards external environment will be considered as a convection. Okay. So in that case we have to write the thermal resistance for the convection. We have to write the thermal resistance for the convection. So our equation will become T1 minus TA whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by 2 pi KL plus 1 upon H naught multiplied by 2 pi L R2. Okay, 2 pi L R2. Okay, getting everyone? Is there any question, any doubt? Now further, we have taken 2 pi L common from the numerator side, denominator side. Okay, 1 upon 2 pi L we have taken common. Okay, from the denominator side, 1 upon 2 pi L we have taken common because 2 pi L is present in both the terms in the denominator side. So we can take 1 upon 2 pi L common, and we have shifted this 2 pi L to the numerator side. Okay, so 1 upon 2 pi L, if you shift to the numerator side, it will become Q is equal to 2 pi L into bracket T1 minus TA whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by K plus 1 upon H naught multiplied by R2. 1 upon H naught multiplied by R2. H naught multiplied by R2. Now next, write down. Now here, total thermal resistance. Now here, total thermal resistance is made up of. Now here, total thermal resistance is made up of. Now here, total thermal resistance is made up of conductive thermal resistance. Total thermal resistance is made up of conductive thermal resistance and convective thermal resistance. And convective thermal resistance. And convective thermal resistance. Full stop. Now, if we increase the radius of insulation, now if we increase the radius of insulation or thickness of insulation radius of insulation or thickness of insulation, then 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 convective thermal resistance decreases, then convective thermal resistance decreases, then convective thermal resistance decreases, then convective thermal resistance decreases due to increase in surface area, due to increase in surface area, due to increase in surface area, and 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 total thermal resistance, and total thermal resistance, and total thermal resistance may actually decrease, and resulting in increase in heat flow, and resulting in increase in heat flow. What is interpreted over here, what it means? Okay, so in this particular diagram, whatever we have discussed about the wall case, if you increase the thickness of wall insulating material over the wall, then the area is remaining constant. Okay, and due to that, if you increase the thickness, your heat transfer rate, your total thermal resistance will get decreased, and due to that, the your total thermal resistance will get increased as we increase the thickness of a insulation. Due to that, your total heat transfer rate will get decreased. Total heat transfer will get decreased. But in this particular cylinder case, what is happening? If you increase the thickness of this particular insulating material, the area available, okay, whatever this area, surface area available for the heat transfer from the insulating material to the external environment, that particular area is also goes on increasing. That particular area also goes on increasing. Here, the total thermal resistance is made up of two resistance. That is, first one is the conductive resistance for the heat transfer within the material, and second one is the heat transfer from the surface to the external environment. That is nothing but a convective resistance. And if you increase the thickness of insulating material, the conductive resistance will get decreased. Okay, no problem, conductive resistance will get decreased as the thickness will increase, but the convective resistance will get increased. And in actual, the summation of these two factors, summation of these two resistance will actually decreases as we increase the thickness of a insulating material. समझ में आ रहा है कुछ? यहाँ पे हम क्या कर रहे हैं, जब हम ये इंसुलेटिंग मटेरियल का थिकनेस बढ़ाते हैं तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? ओके, जब हमें थिकनेस बढ़ाते हैं तो जो एक्सटर्नल सरफेस एरिया है कन्वेक्शन के लिए अवेलेबल, जो एक्सटर्नल सरफेस एरिया है वो बढ़ जाता है. ओके, वो बढ़ जाता है. तो थिकनेस बढ़ाने से आपका कंडक्टिव रेजिस्टेंस तो कम हो जाएगा, लेकिन आपका कन्वेक्टिव रेजिस्टेंस क्या हो जाएगा? बढ़ जाएगा. Because we know that 1/h multiplied by A is the convective resistance. So as we increase the thickness of the insulation, convective resistance will get increased. अब क्या हो रहा है, इन दोनों की कंडक्टिव रेजिस्टेंस और कन्वेक्टिव रेजिस्टेंस की एडिशन की जाए तो एक्चुअल में वो टोटल रेजिस्टेंस क्या हो रहा है? कम हो रहा है, और उसकी वजह से आपका जो हीट ट्रांसफर है वो बढ़ रहा है. हीट ट्रांसफर कम होना चाहिए थिकनेस बढ़ाने से, लेकिन एक्चुअल में क्या हो रहा है? हीट ट्रांसफर रेट थिकनेस बढ़ाने से, इंसुलेशन का थिकनेस बढ़ाने से बढ़ रहा है. वही तो कंसेप्ट है. ओके, समझ में आ रहा है? तो हमने ये देख लिया. नाउ इफ यू इंक्रीज द रेडियस ऑफ इंसुलेशन और थिकनेस ऑफ इंसुलेशन, देन कन्वेक्टिव थर्मल रेजिस्टेंस डिक्रीजेस ड्यू टू इंक्रीज इन सरफेस एरिया, and total thermal resistance may actually decrease and resulting in increase in heat flow and resulting in increasing heat flow. Have you written up to this? Now, if we plot the graph, write down, if we plot the graph for heat transfer, if you plot the graph for heat transfer with respect to, if we plot the graph for heat transfer with respect to, if you plot the graph for heat transfer with respect to insulator radius, if you plot the graph for heat transfer with respect to insulator radius, okay, so we have drawn the graph with for the heat transfer rate with respect to insulating radius, okay. So into our insulating radius is R2, okay, according to our diagram insulating radius is R2. As we are goes on increasing the insulating radius, what will affect on heat transfer rate? So for that purpose we have drawn this particular graph. So here you can draw this particular diagram. So interpretation is that for this particular diagram or graph, interpretation is that as we goes on increasing the insulating radius, okay, insulating material radius, the heat transfer rate is also goes on increasing up to a certain point, okay, and then further the heat transfer further increasing in insulating material will decrease in heat transfer rate, okay. But that particular maximum heat transfer rate we will get at particular point, okay, or at particular radius, that radius of insulation will called as critical radius of insulation, okay. So that particular radius R2 will be equal to RC, okay, that particular radius R2 will be equal to RC. RC nothing but critical radius of insulation. Getting everyone? Draw this simple graph, okay. Okay, next at R2 is equal to RC, at R2 is equal to RC, at R2 is equal to RC, the rate of increase of conductive resistance, the rate of increase of conductive resistance, the rate of increase of conductive resistance of insulation is equal to rate of decrease of convective resistance, rate of decrease of convective resistance, thus giving the minimum value, thus giving the minimum value for sum of thermal resistance, giving the minimum value for sum of thermal resistance, okay, giving minimum value for sum of thermal resistance. Full stop. Next line. The thickness up to which the thickness up to which heat flow increases, the thickness up to which heat flow increases, and after which the thickness up to which heat flow increases and after which heat flow decreases, and after which heat flow decreases is termed as critical thickness, is termed as critical thickness, full stop. In case of cylinder, in case of cylinder and sphere, in case of cylinder and sphere, it is called as critical radius. In case of cylinder and sphere, it is called as critical radius. It is called as critical radius. Okay, over up to this, full stop. Now, we are going to consider the equation number 1, that is Q is equal to 2 pi L T1 minus TA whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by K plus 1 upon H naught multiply by R2 plus 1 upon H naught multiply by R2. Okay, write down the equation. Q is equal to 2 pi L T1 minus TA whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by K plus 1 upon H naught multiply by R2. Okay. So give this equation number 1. Next, from equation 1 we can say that from equation 1 we can say that as R2 increases from equation 1 we can say that as R2 increases the factor ln of R2 divided by R1, the factor ln of R2 divided by R1 whole divided by K increases, but the factor 1 divided by H naught multiply by R2, but the factor 1 divided by H naught multiply by R2, 1 whole divided by H naught multiply by R2 decreases. Thus Q become maximum. When denominator become minimum. Full stop. Next line. We have to differentiate. Okay. We have to differentiate denominator with respect to R2. Okay. Now from this factor, which is the important one, we need to focus on only denominator because the numerator point is similar one. Okay. And we have to change only R2. So R2 is the only variable and it is present in the denominator side. So for the differentiation purpose only we are going to consider the denominator. Okay, only we are going to consider the denominator and we have to differentiate this denominator with respect to R2 only because R2 is the only variable. So we have to differentiate denominator with respect to R2 only because R2 only is variable. We have to differentiate the denominator with respect to R2 only because R2 only is variable. Okay. So next line, differentiate the denominator with respect to R2. So differentiation with respect to R2 of square bracket in square bracket ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by K plus 1 upon H naught multiply by R2. 1 upon H naught multiply by R2. Getting everyone? So now we know that next ln of R2 divided by R1 is nothing but ln of R2 minus ln of R1. Okay, logarithmic rule we have to apply over here. Okay, ln of R2 divided by R1 which is equal to ln of R2 minus R1. Okay, so we have applied the logarithmic rule for the R2 and R1 and we have separated the variables because it will helpful to simplify the differentiation. Okay. So we have applied the logarithmic rule and we have separated out the R2 and R1 terms and then we have provided the differentiation for this particular bracket. Okay. So write down differentiation with respect to R2, d divided by dR2 of square bracket, in square bracket ln of R2 divided by K minus ln of R1 divided by K plus 1 upon H naught, 1 upon H naught multiply by R2 raised to minus 1. Here I have taken denominator side R2 to the numerator side because it will helpful for me to differentiate it very easily. Okay, so if you remember the formulas, no problem. If not, then use my method. Okay, I have taken R2 to the numerator side and I have provided it as R2 raised to minus 1. Okay, which will help me to differentiate it very simpler manner. Okay, so we have done the necessary arrangement for the differentiation. Now differentiation of log x or ln of x is 1 upon x. Okay, so differentiation of ln of R2 with respect to R2 is 1 upon R2. Okay, multiply by 1 upon K as constant we have taken as it is 1 upon K. Okay, plus now here in the second term ln of R1 divided by K, R2 term is not present, so the differentiation, this particular term becomes constant and differentiation with respect to R2 becomes 0. So we have written here 0, differentiation of ln of R1 divided by K, and from the last term R2 raised to minus 1 is there, 1 upon H naught is constant because we are differentiating with respect to R2, so 1 upon H naught will remain as it is, and differentiation of R2 raised to minus 1 is minus 1 multiplied by R2 raised to minus 2. Okay, minus 1 multiplied by R2 raised to minus 2. Okay, so simpler differentiation. So we will get 1 upon R2 multiplied by 1 upon K plus 0 plus 1 upon H naught multiplied by minus 1 multiplied by R2 raised to minus 2. Okay, so once we differentiate, we will shift this R2 raised to minus 2 to the denominator side once again, and our equation will becomes 1 upon R2 multiplied by 1 upon K minus 1 upon H naught multiplied by R2 raised to 2 or R2 square. Okay, getting everyone? 1 upon R2 multiplied by 1 upon K minus 1 upon H naught multiplied by R2 square, which is equal to 0. Which is equal to 0. Okay. Now shift one of the term to the another side. Okay. Shift any term for the simplification purpose. Shift any term to the right side. So here we have shifted one term to the right side. 1 upon R2 multiplied by 1 upon K equal to 1 upon H naught multiplied by R2 square. So minus 1 upon H naught multiplied by R2 square. If you shift this particular term to the right hand side, minus sign will become plus, or the minus term will become plus. So we'll get the equation as 1 upon R2 multiplied by 1 upon K is equal to 1 upon H naught multiplied by R2 square. Now this R2 from the left hand side and R2 square from the right hand side will get cancelled. 1 square from the right hand side and R2 from left hand side will get cancelled. Okay, and whatever the terms, or if you before that, if you want to do the cross multiplication as I have done here, you can perform that cross multiplication also. So H naught multiplied by R2 multiplied by 1 and R2 multiplied by K multiplied by 1. Okay, so if you do the cross multiplication, we will get this particular equation. R2 multiplied by K is equal to H naught multiplied by R2 square. Now this R2 and square from the right hand side, R2 from the left hand side and square from the right hand side of R2 will be cancelled. And if you make the suitable arrangement, we will get R2 is equal to K divided by H naught. Okay, if you transfer this K on this side or H naught on this side, okay, so we will get R2 is equal to K divided by H naught, which is our critical radius of insulation. Okay, so that we can say that R2 is equal to RC is equal to K divided by H naught in case of a cylinder. In case of cylinder, getting everyone? R2 is equal to RC is equal to K divided by H naught. Okay. Okay, so we have discussed all the points up to this particular cylinder. The next concept is critical radius oblique thickness for the sphere. Okay, critical radius oblique thickness for sphere. Okay, same methodology we have to follow as we have followed for cylinder, and we have to determine RC or critical thickness of radius for sphere. Okay, so sphere, in case of a sphere also, the top view we have to consider as a circular geometry. Okay, and here we have to consider the solid sphere. Okay, so consider solid sphere. Write down with me. Consider solid sphere. Consider solid sphere. Okay, draw diagram. Draw the diagram. Okay, so this blue colored circle is there. So this is the sphere having radius of R1. Okay, and over that particular sphere, insulating material is provided having radius R2 and having thickness, having radius R2 and having thermal conductivity of K, and the external surface of insulating material is maintained at a T2 temperature, and external to this particular spherical geometry there is an environment or air surrounded to this particular spherical geometry and having temperature of T suffix A. The heat transfer coefficient, convective heat transfer coefficient between the external surface of insulating material and external environment is H0. Okay, H0. Okay, draw the diagram. Give appropriate nomenclatures. Draw diagram. Freehand sketching is required with appropriate understanding. Okay, have you drawn the diagram? Now next, in case of a sphere, we know that we have derived this equation, how to write the heat transfer rate for the composite sphere and how to manage that particular equation as per the data, as per the diagram. Okay, so here the solid sphere is there and whose surface temperature is T1 and external environment temperature is TA. So overall temperature difference is T1 minus TA. Oh, okay, overall temperature difference is T1 minus TA. Now the thickness for, or we can say that the external the radius of insulation is R2 and the radius of sphere or a solid sphere is R1. Okay, so in case of a sphere, how to write the thermal resistance, okay, for the conduction and for the convection. So in case of a sphere, the thermal resistance for the conduction is nothing but R2 minus R1 whole divided by 4 pi K R1 multiplied by R2. Okay, so this is the equation for the thermal resistance for sphere for the conduction. Okay, for the conduction. Okay, but in case of a sphere, what is the formula for the convection heat transfer? Okay, so it is nothing but 1 upon H0 multiplied by 4 pi R2 square. That is 1 upon H0 multiplied by area, multiplied by surface area. 1 upon H0 multiplied by surface area. Okay, so here we know that the heat transfer from the external surface of a solid cylinder and towards the external environment is happening as if you are going to consider T1 temperature is greater than the TA or it is greater than the T2. Okay, so heat transfer within the insulating material will be considered as the conduction heat transfer, and from the external surface of insulating material to the environment is considered as a convection heat transfer. So accordingly, we have to consider the two resistance. That is nothing but one is for the conduction heat transfer and second one is for the convection heat transfer. So as per the data, as per the diagram, we have considered the two resistance to the denominator side. That is, one is the conduction resistance and one is the convection resistance. Okay. So our equation for the heat transfer will become Q is equal to T1 minus TA whole divided by R2 minus R1 divided by 4 pi K multiplied by R1 multiplied by R2 plus 1 upon H0 multiplied by 4 pi multiplied by R2 square. Okay. So if you want to take the 4 pi common from the denominator side, 1 upon 4 pi common from the denominator side, and if you want to shift to the numerator side, you can do that thing, no problem. So here we are going to adapt the similar procedure as that of cylinder. Okay. So what we are going to do here, we know that the denominator only the denominator is the variable. As we are going to change the R2 value, denominator will get changed. Okay. So R2 is the variable, and we have to differentiate the denominator with respect to R2. So once again, in case of sphere also, we are going to differentiate the denominator with respect to R2. Okay. So adopting the same procedure as that of cylinder, we are going to differentiate. Okay, here we will write differentiate denominator with respect to R2. With respect to R2. Okay. So differentiate with respect to R2, d divided by dr2 in of a square bracket. In square bracket, denominator we have written as R2 minus R1 divided by 4 pi K multiplied by R1 multiplied by R2 plus 1 upon H0 multiplied by 4 pi multiplied by R2 square bracket complete, which is equal to 0. Okay, which is equal to 0. Okay. So if you done for initially, no problem. If you not done, take 1 upon 4 pi common, as this particular 1 upon 4 pi present in both the terms, so that you can take it common 1 upon 4 pi, and you can shift to the numerators. You can shift it to the right hand side, so that the 4 pi multiplied by 0 will become 0. Okay. So take 1 upon 4 pi common, multiply by d divided by dr2, or differentiation with respect to R2, in the square bracket R2 minus R1 divided by K multiplied by R1 multiplied by R2 plus 1 upon H0 multiplied by R2 square equal to 0. Okay. Then you can transfer 4 pi on the left hand side, right hand side. So 4 pi multiplied by 0 will become 0. Okay. So the equation will become d divided by dr2 inside the bracket. Now separate the R2 and R1 term. Numerator R2 minus R1 is there. So separate out R2 and R1. So differentiation with respect to R2 of R2 divided by K multiplied by R1 multiplied by R2 minus R1 divided by K multiplied by R1 multiplied by R2 plus 1 upon H0 multiplied by R2 square. 1 upon H0 multiplied by R2 square. Okay. So now from the first term, R2 in the numerator side and R2 in the denominator side will be cancelled. Okay. And from the second term, R1 from the numerator side and R1 from the denominator side will be cancelled. Then our equation will get deduced as d divided by dr2, differentiation with respect to R2, of a square bracket 1 divided by k multiplied by r1 minus 1 divided by k multiplied by r2 plus 1 divided by h naught multiplied by r2 square. 1 divided by h naught multiplied by r2 square. Okay. Then if you have some difficulty to differentiate 1 upon r2 square, so then you can take this r2 square to the numerator side. It will become r2 raised to minus 2, and then it will be easy to differentiate. Okay. So here also, if you have any difficulty to differentiate 1 upon r2, then take it 1 upon r2 to the numerator side. It will become r2 raised to minus 1, and then it will be easy to differentiate. Okay. So differentiate this bracket, square bracket, with respect to r2. Okay. So in this first term, 1 upon k multiplied by r1, where the r2 term is not present, so this particular complete term will become a constant, and differentiation of constant with respect to r2 will become 0. Okay. So first term differentiation will become 0. Okay. So minus 1 upon k multiplied by r2. So here what I have done, r2 I have taken to the numerator side. Okay. So it will become r2 raised to minus 1, and I have differentiated this r2 raised to minus 1 with respect to dr2. So that differentiation will become minus 1 multiplied by r2 raised to minus 2 divided by k, plus here also I have taken the r2 square to the numerator side. So it will become r2 raised to minus 2, and then I have differentiated it. So my differentiation will become minus 2 multiplied by r2 raised to minus 3 whole divided by h naught. Okay, which is equal to 0. Okay. Then after differentiation, you can shift this r2 terms to the denominator side. So it will become 1 upon k multiplied by r2 square minus, so this minus minus will become plus, minus 1 multiplied by, or minus minus term will become plus, and here minus plus will become minus. So we'll get the equation as 1 upon k multiplied by r2 square minus 2 divided by h naught multiplied by r2 cube is equal to 0. Okay. Is there any doubt, any question? Getting everyone how to differentiate? Now we have shifted next. What we have done, we have shifted this minus 2 divided by h naught multiplied by r2 cube to one side, to the left, to the right hand side, and we have kept 1 upon k r2 square on the right hand side only. Okay. So this minus 2 divided by h naught multiplied by r2 cube will become plus 2 divided by h naught multiplied by r2 cube. So we'll get the equation as 1 divided by k multiplied by r2 square is equal to 2 divided by h naught multiplied by r2 cube. Okay. Write down everyone. 1 divided by k multiplied by r2 square is equal to 2 divided by h naught multiplied by r2 cube. Everyone with me? Everyone with me? Yes, you are getting or not? If you have any doubt, any question, you can ask immediately and clear here itself. Okay. We have performed the differentiation. We have shifted that particular negative term on the another side. So it will become plus. And now here 1 upon k multiplied by r2 square is equal to 2 divided by h naught multiplied by r2 cube. Okay. Okay, next, what you can do here now, you can do the cross multiplication. Okay, you can do the cross multiplication. So 2 multiplied by k multiplied by r2 square, 1 multiplied by h naught multiplied by r2 cube. Okay. Or else, if you want to keep as it is, then you can keep, no problem. So if you want to keep as it is, r2 square and r2 cube, r2 square will be cancelled with the cube, and the r2 is remain on the right hand side, denominator side, right hand denominator side. Okay. So 1 upon k will be equal to 2 divided by h naught multiplied by r2 So that we can say that H naught multiplied by R2 is equal to 2K, and R2 is equal to RC is equal to 2K divided by H naught. R2 is equal to RC is equal to 2K divided by H naught. This is our desired equation for the critical thickness of insulation or critical radius of insulation in case of a sphere. So remember the difference for the cylinder and for the sphere. For the cylinder, critical thickness of insulation or critical radius of insulation is nothing but K divided by H naught. Okay, K divided by H naught. But for the sphere, critical thickness or critical radius of insulation is 2K divided by H naught. 2K divided by H naught. Remember this particular point. Important thing, important equation, important formulas with respect to your final examination or with respect to your gate examination also. Okay. Everyone with me, I have written all the points about this particular derivation. Is there any doubt, any question? Is there any doubt, any question, any query? You can ask, you can put up your question in the chat box, or else you can unmute and you can also ask directly to me. Please let me know whether you understood these two particular derivations. You can comment in the chat box. If you have any doubt, you can comment in the chat box, no problem. I will address that question. If you don't have any question, then you can put, yes, we understood all the points related to critical radius of insulation. क्या समझ लें? समझ में आया कि नहीं? Okay, take the first problem on critical radius of insulation. Okay, write down the problem statement. Write down the problem statement. I will provide you 2 minutes. Okay. You can write the problem statement clearly because I feel somewhat thirsty. I want to drink the water. So you can write the statement. Okay. So I will provide you 2 minutes. Okay, have you written the statement? Okay, I will read it. Problem number 1, a small electrical heating application, uses wire of 2 mm diameter. Okay, uses wire of 2 mm diameter with 0.8 mm thick insulation. Okay, and that insulation material is having thermal conductivity in bracket K is equal to 0.12 watt per meter degree Celsius. Watt per meter degree Celsius. Full stop. The heat transfer coefficient on the insulation surface, the heat transfer coefficient on the insulation surface is 35 watt per meter square degree Celsius. Full stop. Determine the critical thickness of insulation in this case, okay, and the percentage change in the heat transfer. If the critical thickness is huge, assuming that the temperature difference between the surface of the wire and surrounding air remains unchanged. Okay, this is the statement. What they have given, they have considered that one electrical wire is there and whose diameter is provided. That diameter is 2 mm, so which will be useful to determine the radius of a wire. Okay, there then insulation is provided over that wire. Our normal wire is there. Okay, everyone knows the normal wire, and which is having one inside copper type of wire and insulation over that particular wire. Okay, similar kind of wire is there and whose diameter is provided, and thermal conductivity of insulating material is provided. Okay, then the heat transfer coefficient over the surface of that particular insulating material and the external environment is provided. Now two things are known. So wire is the cylindrical geometry, which is having the cross section of circular cross section, and it is having somewhat length. Okay, it is having the length. So this is the we can say that wire is one kind of a cylindrical geometry. Okay, cylindrical geometry. So in that case, it is very useful that these two datas are provided, K and H naught is provided. Okay, so one can easily determine the critical thickness of insulation in case of wire if you know these two datas. Okay, and if you know the formula for the cylindrical critical thickness of insulation or critical radius of insulation. Okay, then they have suggested that the temperature difference between the surface of wire and surrounding air remains unchanged. Okay, so temperature difference में कुछ बदलाव नहीं आएगा. अब उस केस में क्या करना है, हमें ये देखना है कि क्रिटिकल थिकनेस हमने यूज किया तब कितना हीट ट्रांसफर आया. ओके, और जो नॉर्मल थिकनेस प्रोवाइड किया है इंसुलेशन का वो 0.8 mm प्रोवाइड किया है. नॉर्मल थिकनेस से कितना हीट ट्रांसफर होता है और क्रिटिकल थिकनेस से कितना हीट ट्रांसफर होता है, ये दो चीजें हमें डिटरमाइन करनी है. और फाइनली हमें क्या फाइंड आउट करना है, फाइनली हमें परसेंटेज चेंज इन द हीट ट्रांसफर डिटरमाइन करना है. परसेंटेज चेंज इन द हीट ट्रांसफर रेट वी हैव टू डिटरमाइन. सो दैट विल बी इजी पार्ट, फाइंडिंग आउट द परसेंटेज चेंज. So draw the diagram. So diagram is the inside wire. We have taken the cross section of a wire. So wire is there. Okay, so one can say that this is the top view of cylindrical geometry. So top view, in the top view we can say that this is the wire, okay, which is solid one, and over that wire this particular yellow circle is, you can see, that is nothing but the insulation is provided. Okay, and thickness of that particular insulation is provided as 0.8 mm. Okay, and a radius of wire is provided as 2 mm. Okay, so one can determine the R2 on the basis of these two data, thickness and R1. Okay, and surrounding to that particular wire there is environment. Okay, and whose temperature is TA. Surface temperature of wire is T1. Okay, and that they have not provided, they have suggested only the temperature difference remains constant, it will not change. Okay, so that we have to keep it as a constant. We did not consider the data related to the temperature. Okay, so given data R1 diameter of wire is provided as 2 mm. So R1 diameter divided by 2 will get a radius R1, radius of wire, that is R1 is equal to 1 mm, which is equal to 0.001. R2 is equal to radius of wire plus thickness of insulation. So 1 plus 0.18 mm, okay, it will be 1.8 mm, which is equal to 0.0018 meter, 0.0018 meter, and the thermal conductivity of insulating material is provided, K. Okay, so K is equal to 0.12 watt per meter degree Celsius. Okay, it is a given data, and H naught is provided, heat transfer coefficient between outer surface of insulating material and external environment. Okay, heat transfer coefficient H naught is provided, is equal to 35 watt per meter square degree Celsius, is equal to 35 watt per meter square degree Celsius. Okay, so have you drawn this diagram and written the given data? Draw the appropriate diagram, give nomenclature, and write down the given data. Okay, now first we have to determine the critical thickness of insulation for the insulating material, or that particular wire insulation. Okay, so critical thickness of insulation solution, critical thickness of insulation. So wire is a cylindrical geometry, wire is a cylindrical geometry. Write down, wire is a cylindrical geometry. So for the cylinder, critical thickness of insulation RC is equal to R2 is equal to K divided by H naught. K divided by H naught. Okay, here I will write R2 is equal to RC. R2 is equal to RC is equal to K divided by H naught is equal to, what is the value of K given? 0.12. Okay, and H naught is 35. So put up that values, 0.12 divided by 35 will get 3.43 into 10 raised to minus 3. Whether my value is correct or not, please check, do calculation, keep your calci with you while attending HT lecture. Okay, so 3.43, whether you are getting the same answer, please comment in the chat box. What answer you are getting, please comment in the chat box. Okay, 3.42. Okay, okay, great. So most accurate. Okay, can I change this 3.42? Can I change this 3.42? Please comment in the chat box. R2 is equal to RC is equal to K divided by H naught is equal to 0.12 divided by 35 is equal to 3.42 into 10 raised to minus 3, which is equal to 3.42 mm. Okay. Now once, okay, no need to change. Okay, so I will keep as it is, 43. Okay. Now we are going to consider whatever the thickness they have provided. Same thickness we are going to consider, and we have determined that is 0.8 mm, and R2 we are going to consider R2 as 0.0018. Okay. By considering this thickness, we have to calculate the heat transfer. Okay. By considering that thickness, we have to calculate the heat transfer. So heat flow through an insulation wire. Write down the heading: heat flow through an insulation wire. Okay. Heat flow through an insulation wire. So that heat transfer we have to consider as Q1. That heat transfer we have to consider as Q1. Okay. And Q1 is equal to T1 minus TA whole divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by 2 pi KL plus 1 upon H0 multiplied by 2 pi L multiplied by R2. 2 pi L multiplied by R. 2 pi L R2 is the external surface area for the insulating material, external surface area which is exposed to the environment. Okay, 2 pi L R2. Okay, have you written? So next we have taken the common 1 upon 2 pi L from the denominator side, and we have shifted that to the numerator side. So equation will be changed to Q1 is equal to 2 pi L multiplied by T1 minus TA divided by ln of R2 divided by R1 divided by K plus 1 upon H0 multiplied by R2 plus 1 upon H0 multiplied by R2. Okay. Now in the problem itself, they have suggested that temperature difference remains constant, and they have not provided any value, and they have also not provided the value for length, and so that this numerator term 2 pi L multiplied by T1 minus TA will remain as it is. Just put up the values in the denominator side, that is ln of R2 divided by R1 whole divided by K plus 1 upon H0 multiplied by R1. Okay, put up the values. In this equation. Okay, everyone, put up the values in the equation. So R2 is 0.0018, R1 is 0.001, and K is 0.12, H0 is 35, multiplied by R2 is 0.0018. Put up the values and do the calculation for the denominator only. Okay, do the calculation for the denominator only. So numerator will keep as it is, and do the calculation for the denominator only. Okay, denominator only. Do the calculation for the denominator only. Okay, and what value you are getting? Please tell me. Q1 is equal to 2 pi L T1 minus TA whole divided by whatever your value you are getting. Please let me know your value for the denominator for Q1 in the chat box. $20.77. Great, great. So 20.77. Everyone getting 20.77. Okay. So Q is equal to 2 pi L Q1. It's not Q. It's Q1. Q1 is equal to 2 pi L T1 minus TA whole divided by 20.77. Okay, that we have to determine about the heat transfer with given thickness of insulation or given radius of insulation, for given radius of insulation. Now next we have, instead of R2 we have to consider RC. Instead of a given R2 radius, we have to consider critical radius of insulation as we have calculated at the start of our solution. Okay. Next, the heat flow through an insulated wire when critical thickness is used. When critical thickness is used. Write down the heat flow through an insulated wire when critical thickness is used. when critical thickness is used. Okay. So in this case, instead of R2, we have to consider RC. Instead of R2, we have to consider RC. Instead of R2, we have to consider RC. So our formula will be changed. Wherever there is R2 term is there, replace that R2 term with RC. Replace that R2 term with RC. So Q2 is equal to 2 pi L T1 minus TA, as it is mentioned in a statement that temperature difference remains constant, so that we have to keep the term as it is, 2 pi L into bracket T1 minus TA whole divided by ln of RC divided by R1. So here instead of R2 we have taken RC plus 1 upon H0 multiply by, instead of R2 we have placed RC. Okay, so Q2 is equal to 2 pi L into bracket T1 minus TA whole divided by ln of RC divided by R1 divided by K plus 1 upon H0 multiply by RC. H0 multiply by RC. Okay, so just put up the values for the denominator. Okay, values for the denominator and calculate the denominator only. So that will be our Q2. Okay, Q2 when we are doing the calculation for heat transfer rate when we are using critical thickness of insulation for the wire insulator. Okay. Two pi L T1 minus TA whole divided by 0.00343. It is our critical thickness of insulation divided by R1 value. R1 is 0.001 whole divided by thermal conductivity is 0.12 plus 1 upon H0. H0 is 35 multiply by RC is 0.00343. Do calculation for the denominator and determine the denominator in case of a Q2. Please let me know your value in the chat box. For the denominator 18.601. Okay, okay, so take 18.6. okay, so Q2 will become, Q2 is equal to 2 pi L T1 minus TA whole divided by 18.6. okay, whole divided by 18.6. okay, so that two heat transfer rates we have discussed. Now what will happen? Now just go through this particular problem. When we are using here in case of, in first case, the thickness is only, or the radius is only how much? 0.0018. So in that case we are getting the denominator 20.77. okay, so upper value is constant, numerator value is constant, and we are getting the denominator 20.77. For smaller thickness we are getting the smaller thermal resistance. But if you increase the for smaller thickness we are getting the larger thermal resistance. But if you increase the thickness of insulation in case of a cylinder, your denominator will get decreased. Denominator will get decreased. So that in this case the heat transfer will be more. In this case the heat transfer will be more. So the critical thickness is 343, which is greater than 0.0018. okay, so that we can say that when we are using the critical thickness, the heat transfer rate is higher than the previous one. Okay, now we have to calculate the percentage increase in heat transfer by using the critical thickness of insulation. So to determine this percentage increase, we have to subtract higher heat transfer rate from lower heat transfer rate divided by lower heat transfer rate multiplied by 100. That is nothing but Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q1 multiplied by 100. Q2 minus Q1 multiplied by 100. Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q1 multiplied by 100. Okay, that will provide you the percentage increase in heat transfer. Okay, after using the critical radius of insulation, how much percentage increase in heat transfer happen, that we will get through this particular formula. Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q1 multiplied by 100. Okay, write down. So percentage increase in heat transfer by using critical thickness of insulation will be equal to Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q1 multiplied by 100. Multiply by 100. Okay. So Q2 we have determined 2 pi L T1 minus TA divided by 18.6, and Q1 is 2 pi L T1 minus TA divided by 20.77. Just put up the values of Q2 and Q1 instead of this Q2 and Q1 in this particular formula. Okay, 2 pi L T1 minus TA divided by 18.6 minus 2 pi L T1 minus TA divided by 20.77 whole divided by 2 pi L T1 minus TA divided by 20.77 multiplied by 100. Now from this particular case, we come to know that 2 pi L T1 minus TA, 2 pi L T1 minus TA, 2 pi L T1 minus TA. If you take the 2 pi L T1 minus TA from the numerator common and from the denominator common, it will be cancelled. Okay, so we will get it as a 1 divided by 18.6 minus 1 divided by 20.77 whole divided by 1 divided by 20.77. Okay, and now calculate the percentage change. How much percentage change is happening? Is equal to, tell me your value. Please put up your answer in the chat box. Percentage change in value 11.66. Whether you are getting the same answer, everyone, 11.67. Okay, so 11.6, I will write 11.6%. So heat transfer is increased by 11.6% if you are using the critical thickness of insulation in this particular problem. Getting everyone? Is there any question, any doubt? Is there any question, any doubt? How to solve the problem? Getting? Can we move ahead to the next problem? %11.6%. Okay. Okay, shall I move ahead? Is there any doubt, any question? Okay, so write down the second problem statement. Problem number 2. Problem number 2. Write down the problem statement. Calculate the critical radius of insulation calculate the critical radius of insulation for asbestos in bracket K is equal to 0.172 in bracket K is equal to 0.172 watt per meter Kelvin calculate the critical radius of insulation for asbestos in bracket K is equal to 0.172 watt per meter Kelvin surrounding a pipe and exposed to room air at 300 Kelvin at 300 Kelvin. Full stop. Full stop. Exposed to room air at 300 Kelvin. Full stop. With H is equal to means what? Heat transfer coefficient. With H is equal to 2.8. With H is equal to 2.8 watt per meter square Kelvin. With H is equal to 2.8 watt per meter square Kelvin. With H is equal to 2.8 watt per meter square Kelvin. Full stop. Calculate the heat loss. Calculate the heat loss. Calculate the heat loss from 475 Kelvin. Calculate the heat loss from 475 Kelvin. Calculate the heat loss from 475 Kelvin, comma 60 mm diameter pipe, comma 60 mm diameter pipe, when covered with critical radius of insulation, when covered with critical radius of insulation, and without 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 insulation. Okay, have you written the problem statement? Okay, so in the problem, one pipe is considered, and over that pipe, insulation is provided. Okay, over that pipe, insulation is provided, and we have to determine the critical thickness of that or critical radius of that particular insulation. Okay, in that case, we require the thermal conductivity and heat transfer coefficient. That two values are provided in the given data only. Now next we have to calculate the heat loss, that is nothing but heat transfer rate from the pipe surface to the external environment. Okay, when we have to calculate that particular heat transfer rate, when the insulation is provided and the thickness of that or the radius of that particular insulation is critical radius of insulation, and secondly what we have to find out, if there is no insulation over that particular pipe, in that case what will be the heat transfer. Okay, so two heat transfer we have to determine. One, when insulation is there with critical radius of insulation, and second heat transfer when there is no insulation. When there is no insulation, we can say that the pipe is naked one, or it is directly exposed to environment. Okay, it is directly exposed to environment. Okay, so what will be the calculation part and what will be the diagram in that particular case? You can consider the same diagram as we have drawn for the first problem. Okay, so consider this is the pipe. Okay, internal, and the pipe is the cylindrical geometry. Once again, the pipe is the cylindrical geometry. So we have to consider the cylindrical formulas to find out the solution for this particular problem. Okay, so draw the diagram. This is inner pipe. Okay, which is maintained at one temperature, which is equal to T1, and that T1 is nothing but 475 Kelvin. Okay, surrounding to this pipe, insulation is provided, and the thermal conductivity of that particular insulation is K. K value is provided as 0.172 watt per meter Kelvin. Now, surrounding to that particular insulation, environment is present, and temperature of external environment is provided. So we can consider the temperature of air as T suffix A, which is equal to 300 Kelvin. Okay, and H naught, heat transfer coefficient between the external surface to external environment, it is provided as 2.8 watt per meter square Kelvin. Okay, and the radius of pipe is provided, or diameter of the pipe is provided as 60 mm. Okay, so we can calculate the radius from that data, that is radius of pipe. We have to consider it as R1. So R1 is equal to 60 divided by 2, which is equal to 30 mm, which will be equal to 0.03 meter. Okay, 0.03 meter. So in this case, we have to determine the critical thickness. First, critical radius or critical thickness we have to determine. Then heat transfer rate or heat loss when we are considering the critical radius of insulation, and heat transfer rate without insulation means the pipe is bared, or we can say that the naked one which is exposed directly to the environment. So in that case, we can calculate Q without insulation. Q without insulation. Okay, getting everyone? Now write down the given data. Write down the given data and draw the diagram. Here I will say R2 or okay, RC we have to determine. Okay, critical radius. Over. So pipe is a cylindrical geometry. So you can use the cylinder critical radius formula to determine the critical radius. RC is equal to K divided by H naught. Okay. So critical radius of insulation. Critical radius of insulation. RC is equal to K divided by H naught, which is equal to K value is 0.172, and H naught is 2.8. Okay, H naught is 2.8, which is equal to 0.06143 meter, that is equal to 61.43 mm. Okay, do calculation and check whether my value is correct one or not. If not, please comment your value in the chat box. Calculate RC. Okay, whether you are getting 61.43 mm or 0.06143 meter. If you get this same value, then calculate the Q when critical radius of insulation is used for the insulator. Okay, so that is nothing but R2 is equal to RC. Okay, when we are using the R2 is equal to RC, at that time we will get the heat transfer rate. Q is equal to T1 minus TA. Q is equal to T1 minus TA whole divided by ln of RC divided by R1 divided by 2 pi KL plus 1 divided by H naught multiplied by 2 pi L multiplied by RC. Okay, what we are doing, instead of R2 we are taking RC. Okay, instead of R2 we are taking RC. Okay, now put up, if you take 2 pi L 1 upon 2 pi L common from the denominator side and shift to the numerator side, you will get the equation of Q is equal to 2 pi L T1 minus TA divided by ln of RC divided by R1 divided by K plus 1 upon H naught multiplied by RC. 1 upon H naught multiplied by RC. Okay. Now here L is not given in the equation, in the problem statement. Okay, length is not provided. How much length is there? So we can take this on the another side. That is, it will become Q by L. We'll get the heat transfer rate per meter. Okay, per meter length. We'll get the heat transfer rate per meter length. Okay, if you transfer the L on the another side. So Q by L will be equal to 2 pi into bracket T1 minus TA divided by ln of RC divided by R1 divided by K plus 1 upon H naught multiplied by RC. Getting everyone what we have done? L, length of the pipe is not provided. Okay. So in case of wall, we are saying that if the area is not provided, then take that area on the another side. We will get the heat transfer rate per unit area. That is nothing but heat flux. So in this case, we are taking this L on the another side. So it will become Q by L. So that we will get the heat transfer rate per unit length. We will get the heat transfer rate per unit length. Okay. So transfer Q by L on this L on this side. So it will become Q by L. So Q by L is equal to 2 pi T1 minus TA whole divided by ln of RC divided by R1 divided by K plus 1 upon H naught multiplied by RC. H naught multiplied by RC. Okay. Put up the appropriate values. T1 is 475. TA is 300. RC is 0.061. R1 is 0.03. K is 0.172. H naught is 2.8. And RC is 0.06143. Okay. Put up the values and do the calculation for Q by L. When we are using the critical radius of insulation, at that time, what will be the heat transfer rate? That value we will get. Please let me know what value you are getting after calculation. What value you are getting after calculation? Please put up your value in the chat box. Do calculation, everyone. Okay, 110.16. 110.16. Okay, that is the correct value. 110.16. Okay, and unit will be watt per meter. Okay, unit will be watt per meter. Correct. Is there any another opinion? 110.186. Okay. Okay. So that we have calculated when we are using the critical thickness of insulation. Now we have to determine the heat transfer rate per unit length when there is no insulation provided over the surface. Okay. इंसुलेशन ही नहीं है सरफेस पर, तो जो पाइप का सरफेस है वो डायरेक्टली एनवायरनमेंट को एक्सपोज हो जाएगा. ओके. और जो पाइप का सरफेस है वो डायरेक्टली हीट ट्रांसफर करेगा एनवायरनमेंट को. ओके. वो डायरेक्टली हीट ट्रांसफर करेगा एनवायरनमेंट को. वो जो हीट ट्रांसफर है वो कौन सी हीट ट्रांसफर रहेगी? कन्वेक्शन हीट ट्रांसफर रहेगी। ओके, जो हीट ट्रांसफर सरफेस डायरेक्टली एनवायरमेंट को हीट ट्रांसफर कर रहा है। ओके, पाइप का सरफेस डायरेक्टली एनवायरमेंट को हीट ट्रांसफर कर रहा है, तो वो हीट ट्रांसफर हमें कन्वेक्शन हीट ट्रांसफर कंसीडर करनी पड़ेगी, और उस केस में हमें न्यूटन्स लॉ ऑफ कूलिंग यूज करना पड़ेगा। ओके, सो नाउ क्यू विदाउट इंसुलेशन। ओके, क्यू विदाउट इंसुलेशन। ओके, so this is the pipe. So pipe surface is maintained at a T1 temperature. Okay, pipe surface is maintained at a T1 temperature, and which is exposed directly to the environment, and the environment temperature we have to consider as a TA. Okay, now surface is transferring heat to the fluid. Okay, environment means what? Air is there, air is means fluid is there, so surface is directly transforming the heat to the fluid, so only convection mode of heat transfer will be there. Okay, only convection mode of heat transfer will be there. So in that case we have to apply the Newton's law of cooling to carry out the heat transfer rate, to carry out the heat transfer rate. So according to Newton's law of cooling, we know that Q is equal to H multiplied by A multiplied by delta T, or dt, HA dt. Okay, so where H is the heat transfer coefficient, A is the surface area available for the heat transfer, and delta T is the overall temperature difference, that is T1 minus TA. Okay, initial temperature is T1, final temperature is TA. Okay, so area for the cylinder, surface area for the cylinder is 2 pi RL. Surface area for the cylinder is 2 pi RL. So area, our A is area available for the heat transfer is 2 pi RL, and instead of H naught we have instead of H we have H naught. So accordingly we will modify this Newton's law of cooling according to our data. So formula will become Q is equal to H naught multiplied by 2 pi RL multiplied by T1 minus TA. Okay, getting everyone? 2 pi RL multiplied by T1 minus TA. H naught multiplied by 2 pi RL multiplied by T1 minus TA. Okay, now put up the values, whatever the values we have, just put up that values. H naught is 2.8, H naught is 2.8 multiplied by 2 pi as it is, multiplied by area. Okay, so here I will write R1. Okay, R 2 pi R1L. Okay, so Q is equal to H naught multiplied by 2 pi R1L multiplied by T1 minus TA. Put up the values. Q is equal to H naught is 2.8, right? 2.8 H naught multiply by 2 pi, inside the bracket multiply by 2 pi, inside the bracket 2 pi multiply by 0.03 multiply by L. L is not provided, so here we have to transfer the L on another side, so we will get the value for the Q by L. Okay, heat transfer rate per unit length. Okay, so which is equal to 2.8 multiplied by 2 pi multiplied by 0.03 multiplied by temperature difference is 475 minus 300. 475 minus 300. Put up the values and do the calculation for heat transfer rate without insulation. So 92.36. You are getting 92.36. Great, great. Everyone is calculating. I'm very happy with you. You are solving all the problems seriously. Those are not solving, it's their loss. Okay. So Q by L, you are getting as 92.36, and its unit is watt per meter. Its unit is watt per meter. Okay, getting everyone how to solve the problem on critical thickness of insulation or critical radius of insulation? Okay, that will be your final answer. So this point we have covered, critical radius of insulation. In the next lecture, we'll start the new point, that is heat conduction with internal heat generation. Internal heat generation. Okay. So we'll stop here.
Just put up your roll numbers in the chat box and you can leave this meeting. If you have any doubt, any problem, any question, you can ask.
Remaining student, just put up your roll numbers and you can leave this meeting. Everyone, just put up your roll numbers in the chat box and leave this meeting. पवन गवड़ी, समर्थ चव्हाण, सोहेल शिकलकर, कन्हैया, Chetan. Put up your roll numbers in the chat box and leave this meeting. Within 2 minutes, I will remove from the meeting if you're not